Okay, and now we're back into the kitchen. It's a few floors down and up, like we're constantly running up and down here in this house, so it's really amazing.
We got to get our steps in, you know?
Get the steps in, watching it. So as we said, it's an hour about the community, a lot of interesting things coming up. Yeah, like I'm really excited because it's
Me too.
Another favorite topic of mine.
Yeah, you have several favorite topics.
As you
I have to admit, I have too. I have several favorite topics. But you know, I think what's really super exciting about this hour is, first of all, we're going to have a live interview. So we're going to have a special guest on stage, and we're going to be talking about the topic of mindfulness. But we're also going to have a community talk. So we're going to be hearing from community members, right, Thomas?
Yeah, so community talks is something we have done in the community for, I think, like a few, I don't know, like how many decades back. And it was in the physical thing. Physical event, and of course it was very interesting to get the thoughts from the community. And the team is always putting it out, like doing a call for a presentation or for talks, and we're getting a lot of like inputs and going through this, and so it's always hard to say like, okay, this one is great, this one is even better. So that's how the community talk work. The other thing is what we're doing with the community talk. It's the community members are doing this between them. So we have a virtual host who is interviewing a guest, and the guest is talking about the topic, but it's always like both are deeply involved. They're very passionate about the topic. So this makes it very interesting around these community talks, and really excited to also have this here in the virtual ticket in channel 1 to bring the community talks in. And yeah, like I'm looking forward to the first one today, but there will be, of course, many more coming in the next 48 hours. Now we're not 48 hours. I think we are 45 left.
Yeah, I don't, you know. Let's not, you know, do math right now. I don't think my brain can handle it with all the stuff we have to remember. But yeah, and I think, you know, like you're mentioning, what's really interesting about the community talks is that it's external, right? It's always like external view. So it's two community members talking to each other. There's nobody from SAP in there. So I think that's super interesting. But actually, first off, for everybody that's new to the topic of SAP community that maybe, you know, is not really sure what that is, we also have a video from one of our co-hosts, the great Craig Schmehill. I asked him 45 times how to say his name, and I still couldn't remember. But yeah, Craig Schmehill. We're going to have a video with him. He's going to be talking about the community, all the great stuff you can do, like about blog posts. They're not blogs, people. They're blog posts. DJ, that's for you. He's also going to be talking about, you know, profiles, how you can follow people, how you can get notifications, you know, all this great stuff that you know about, but for some people it might be new, right?
No, and it's a great video, so really excited that Craig put this together, and it's not only Craig, it's also some of the community members coming in. And yeah, looking forward to have him walk you through the community and what to explore in the SAP community.
Awesome. Let's check it out.
Hi and welcome. My name is Craig, and we're here to talk in this session about the SAP community. But to do that, I'm joined by two great friends, Tammy and Chris. Tammy, how's it going today?
Hey, Craig, it's going great, and I'm happy to be here.
All right, Chris, how are you doing?
Really good. Thank you for having me, and thrilled to be here.
All right. So let's jump right in and take a look at the SAP community. The SAP community. It's a platform, it's a destination, it's a resource, and it's one that provides multiple ways for you to consume, contribute, and interact with content and others in your field. In particular, in this case, I want to show you how to follow a particular tag to be notified whenever new content is being created. So in this case, I'm going to go to our blog posts. I would like to see under our blog posts, from a tag perspective, content that's being generated around the business technology platform. So here we go, business technology platform. So I'm here, I see that it has blog posts, it has contributor, it has followers already, there's an RSS post, I can see all the posts that are there, and I'm going to follow this content. Now, what does it mean to follow? What does that actually do? Well, if you check under your profile, under your account settings, communications, you'll notice that Which notifications would you like to see? And in this particular case, new blog posts and tags that I follow, I want to receive an email notification. So whenever a new piece of content is posted, I will get an email letting me know there's something there for me to read. So as you can see from that quick video, there's a lot of different ways that you can keep track of the content, different types of notifications you can get. I only focused on the one, just simply because when I want to learn about new topics, that's kind of my go-to area. But there's so many other ways to do it. Tammy, as a prolific blogger in our platform, somebody who keeps track of a lot of different things that are going on out there, how do you keep track of your favorite topics?
Well, Craig, I do similar to you. I follow certain tags and certain topics, and my profile is updated to receive email communications. But I also like to follow the SAP community wikis, because that's where I get notified. I've got a watch where I get notified of changes to the SAP Inside Track wiki, and also SAP support has several wikis that I follow because they're so useful. The other thing I like to do is I like to just scan the Q&A during the day, because to me that helps improve your skills, your current skills. And if I want to learn something new, I check out the blogs. And so those are two simple things I do just about every day.
Oh, wow. Very good. So, and there's so much about the community. I mean, Q&A, blogs, wiki, there's just so many different aspects to it, but there's a lot of things that happen also outside of our website. And then I have another little video clip here that talks a little bit more about the other areas of the community. Events, both online, physical, webinars, recorded, and live streams are another great way to find out about content available and interesting to you. So take a look at the SAP Community event page and find an event that's right for you. So as you saw from that video clip, there are a lot of different aspects of our SAP community. And that was only really the tip, right? The tip of the iceberg. There are so many things out there. And really, Chris, this is kind of the area that you focus on a lot as you deal in a lot of new innovative technologies. So tell us more.
Okay, so as you said, the SAP community itself is vast. So it is, but the technology that we're actually working with has grown over the last decade. And as a technologist myself, I have to try and keep up as much as possible. So what I've had to do is actually start at the SAP community, looking at those great technologists working within SAP and taking the beginnings and the nuggets of what they're working with, and then exploring externally to round out those actual concepts. So when I look at things like cloud or Kubernetes or testing and automation, I'm having to actually interact with different communities external to SAP and work with those folks as well. But the key to it is to be a good citizen and also bring what I learned there back into the SAP community so that other people can learn the new technologies and develop from there. So we have a well-rounded community supporting our SAP ecosystem.
Fantastic. And a lot of the ways that people are bringing them back are actually, it's kind of like videos that we're doing right now. Out there capturing it, sharing it, blogging about it, helping answer questions in the Q&A, or even presenting it in, online track or the inside tracks or the Stammtisches. There's just so many opportunities that are available.
Yes. Very, very much. We've seen a massive resurgence of the Stammtisch over the last 2 years. So we had a lot of inside tracks for a long time, and then the Stammtisch idea really, really took hold again because it was a little bit more informal and people getting together. And it's, when you look on Twitter at the Stammtisches, you see so many fantastic people joining, and a very diverse audience as well.
And it's even gotten more diverse recently as everybody's been going online, of course. Yeah. A lot of those little local Stammtisches, where people were meeting up at the local pub, have now gone virtual. So everybody has an opportunity to participate. And honestly, that's what the SAP community is about. Everybody has the chance to be involved. About getting involved in the community, there are so many ways. Tammy, the community has had a few different names over the years. The current one, of course, is the SAP community. I think that summarizes the whole thing, because it's not just about developers, it's not just about the business folks, it's about all of us together. How do you get involved though? What are some of your tips and tricks for getting involved in the community?
Well, Craig, I think it's pretty easy. You just start. If you've attended a webcast, how was it? Share your experience in a blog post. Are you afraid of posting? An easy way to start is post in the coffee corner. I posted a question in the coffee corner because I had a presentation. I think I posted on a Tuesday. I had a presentation on Friday. I needed to double my content, and I immediately got 20 great replies. So it's sort of like crowdsourcing. And also, I think the more you put into the community, the more you get back. Oftentimes, if I've got a problem with SAP, I can just search the community and find it. And also, thanks to the community, I grew up in Kansas, small state, not populated state, but thanks to my contributions to the community, I've been able to visit South Africa and Australia, something I never dreamed of. So I think it's the value of reciprocity. The more you contribute, you get a lot more in return.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I didn't realize that. I completely forgot all those different events that we talked about a little bit ago out there. They actually do look in the community for folks like you who have been contributing, and it's fantastic opportunities. And speaking of contributing, let me direct this one at you, Chris. As Tammy said, you just got to start, but how do you start? What are some of those tips and tricks?
Well, so I from a personal point, I started with blogging. So I did. At the time, I was working with SAP and Amazon on deploying SAP in the cloud, and it was one of those things. It was new, so it was in the old Wayne Gretzky thing. You skate to where the puck is going, not to where the puck is. And so I thought, this is a place that is new territory. It would be easy to blog about, and I could really get around that imposter syndrome or the fear of being wrong, because it was new. So lots of people were wrong, and I learned very quickly how to be wrong graciously, mostly. And so that was how I got started, and then that led on to presentations, answering questions in the Q&A and things like that. And then, whilst all those things were going on, I surrounded myself and I followed like-minded people who supported me, people who gave me the confidence to continue and grow and contribute in all those fantastic ways. And that is really just how I got started.
All right. There's a lot of different ways out there. I personally started with Q&A. I had questions. I had no idea, for example, what ABAP or BSP was when I first started. And serendipity, the communities of SAP were just getting started, so I had a place to ask my questions. Yep. And the rest is history, as they say. But what I find really interesting about this, and as you, our audience, is listening and watching this video, and you're realizing all these different opportunities that are available to you, we also have to think about all this great content that's being produced and shown now for Sapphire, whether it's the traditional event where we were there, or now this new way where all these videos are there. Now you even have more opportunity because you can watch more videos. But when you're from a technical background like we are, how do you go from there? What's that next step? Well, the SAP community is a perfect place for that. You've seen the videos now, the presentations, the keynotes. You've heard about the business technology platform. You've heard about all these new strategies around the intelligent enterprise and new technologies. Well, the SAP community is there for you. It helps you get a deeper technical insight into a lot of these strategy conversations that have been presented this week. And to do that, we saw in the beginning, you can follow a tag, get your notifications, but we also have topic pages. And those topic pages, like our brand new business technology platform topic page that's live, it tells you even more. And it's an opportunity for you to go. And if you have questions, the Q&A is there for you to ask. And there are plenty of people out there that are ready to answer your questions, just like we are. Thank you very much.
Okay, wow, this was a packed overview on the community from Craig Schmehill. And as always, if you haven't tried it out or you want to just new to the community, I think Jürgen also had in the keynote. It's very simple to remember, community.sap.com. /tour that gives you kind of like an overview in a tutorial style. And that's what guides you through questions, blogs, etc. So the in and outs of the community to get started. And of course, there's more, as we just queued it up also before, the community talks. So this is also by the members. You also just heard Tammy telling that, like, yeah, like she gets often asked into different presentations because of their knowledge in the community, how they present it. And I think this is also a good example of the community talks and how the community members are sharing their knowledge. And I'm really excited to have also a community talk coming up here with two community members. Hello, this is Michelle Crapo and Tudor Riscotola. Perfect to have you here at TechEd. How are you liking TechEd, virtual TechEd so far?
It's awesome.
Awesome?
It's really good.
Good. Tudor, how you like it?
Yeah, really, really interesting.
Okay, perfect. Since you are the first community talk, I'm still explaining it a little bit how it works. So as we have two community members. Michelle is presenting on a topic on learning a new skill isn't as hard as it used to be. So you walk us through a little bit like about learning new skills. And Tudor, you are our great virtual host to do the interview with Michelle. So I don't want to have the audience waiting much longer, and I hand it over to you, Tudor, for the interview with Michelle. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. So actually the talk Michelle is about to give is more about how to learn CDS. And to this, Michelle, I would like to ask you, why CDS first? There are so many new technologies and so many new things to learn. Why CDS?
Well, it was really hard for me. I mean, there was so much out there to learn, so many different things. And we had just moved to HANA. I wish I had started before then. But once we got there, my very first project was moving things over that we used to print. And we were going to use the new print options. Output determination with BRF+. And to do that, I had to know CDS views, which I didn't know at all. And the reason why I had to know them is because I had to create an extension to be able to go ahead and print things the way we wanted. We needed an extra field. So that was my first encounter with it. And then after that, I had a page that came up, sales orders, and we put a new field on it. And of course, what do I have to do? I have to extend CDS views and make it work that way. So I learned rather quickly that I needed CDS views. They also told me that the way I used to code was the way I learned how, which was pull everything up into an internal table and do all the work on it. Well, with CDS views, you're supposed to, well, with HANA, you're supposed to do the work at the database. And to do that, we use CDS views, and it put it right on the database. I was surprised at how fast things actually ran with that. So in my day-to-day work, just creating new things, I had to use CDS views, plus add into the fact that SAP uses it. Oh yeah, no brainer. I had to learn them very fast.
Yeah, I guess that's a really hard way to learn. So what are some of the steps you took to do this?
Well, some of the steps was I didn't have Eclipse. We were on SAP 4.6c before, so I downloaded Eclipse, and then I went through, of course, and did what probably half the people do, and I went ahead and Googled it. And I had a ton of information come up. So that made it easier, but harder. It was easier because I remember when I first started with ABAP, and you would Google it or Yahoo back then, and nothing would come up. So to get all that information, it was really nice. But then I had to kind of sort through what was good and what wasn't. The very first thing I found that was very useful to me was the SAP Developer Center, and that's within the SAP community. And they have all kinds of tutorials out there, step by step on how to do something. So I could literally take what my requirement was and then go step by step through and be able to figure out, oh, this is what I have to do, and here I can get it done. And then I go back and try and figure out what I actually did. And then the other thing I would suggest before starting anything, new, old, whatever, if you haven't done it, check out the Clean Code Guide and GitHub. A lot of different developers have put information in there, and it's how to do things right. And surprisingly, I didn't always do things right. So then the next thing is blogs, of course. I mean, SAP community has a ton of blogs. Well, for me, it was a matter of looking at who wrote the blog. If it was somebody I knew and somebody who was technically really good, then I knew I could trust the blog. Also, it helps by looking at what badges they have and what kind of reputation, what questions are they answering, that type of thing. So that can tell you who you can look at. And then last thing, I tried everything. That's how I went through learning. So then I would try everything and I still wouldn't find my answer. So I Googled it again, of course, with different words. And then I went on to the SAP community and asked questions because nobody knows it all. And the people on the community, there's like, I don't know, millions, over 2 million, I think. And somebody will be able to answer that question that you have. The only thing I would suggest is reading the rules before you go ahead and do it.
Okay, so basically you can rely on the great SAP community to get the right information, but where do you find the time and the motivation to do this?
Okay, for me, I'm glad we talked before this. For me, it was really easy because I had to learn it. So when you have to learn it, you learn it before work, during work, after work, and whenever you need to, right? Weekends, whatever. But after talking with you, it was like, okay, I don't need that skill yet. Why would I learn it? Well, you would want to pick it up so you won't be in the same boat that I was. And that is that I was trying to learn it as I used it. So if you have any inkling that your company might be moving towards HANA, it's a really good idea to see if you can carve out some time and actually practice everything that you want to before you go in. In my case, it would have been CDS views. And they have all kinds of cool new offerings out there. I'm not even going to try and list them because they did earlier in some of the speeches, and it was really cool because now we get it for 12 months, and that's a really big deal. And so you can go ahead and do that without even having HANA on your system.
Yeah, I think that's also something great. And I was really excited about the announcements in the keynote that there will come more and more about the free tier. I think this is really important. And having that, can you leave us with some of the links or somewhere where you can find this information in regards to CDS, what your journey, what you went through?
I would absolutely love to do that. Per your suggestion, I set my blog post out early, and it went on a Monday, and you can look it up under my name and then the session, and you can read all the links that I have out there. If you wait long enough, till after Tech Ed. I'll also update it with some of the links that I have been listening to and hearing about here. After talking with different people, I also understand where different people are coming from and they don't have HANA yet and they still want to learn something new that they can use right away. I'll have some more different type links out there that they can use to learn something different maybe than what they already are. And hopefully that will help people out, because I know you love to learn. I know I love to learn, and they probably love to learn, but they're going to want to be able to use it right away. So my idea is to get some stuff out there that they can do right away.
Okay. So yeah, this is always interesting, or this is why people attend TechEd, to find out the latest, but also look for other new things which they can discover, which they can learn. And having all this information in the SAP community and all these free tiers definitely helps a lot. And yeah, with that, I would like to thank you, Michelle, and I will make sure to read your blog and recommend it to everybody to read. And yeah, with that, let's hand it back to Thomas. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think this was a very good discussion. So thank you, Tudor. Thank you, Michelle. So you mentioned the free tier before, like how often are you using the trial right now and the free offerings and software from SAP? I ask you, Tudor or Michelle?
I did before we went up on HANA. So I used to use it, I would say probably at least 2 or 3 times a week. But now I don't use it because I'm on my own system.
Yeah, I think that's often like for developers. I always hear that one. It's the time what is missing, and you mentioned that one before, Michelle, very much. Like, when is the time to learn? It's like in the evening, during the job, and maybe on the weekend. Hopefully not, because you also want to do something with your friends, family, and so on. So yeah, it's really hard to squeeze in some time. I don't know, Tudor, when do you find time to learn?
Well, because I'm such a passionate community member, I actually do it next to work as well. But I am one of the lucky people who gets the chance to learn new things through the work. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm blessed this way, and I do have access to some of the newer technologies, but I also rely a lot on all the free tier, and also some that you might have to pay a little, for example, like a cloud provider. But I'm really grateful to SAP to provide such solutions like the cloud application library and the cloud appliance and so on.
Now, it's definitely, and I think like here at TechEd, so now you have even more to learn. And I think maybe that's a message back to all the employers to say like give the teams and the people more time to learn, because that's probably then also helping in the project further down, because we always know like, okay, like why is the project taking so long? It's like, yeah, like because we had to upskill during the project. So maybe invest before and then get more time also to get the project through like faster. So that's probably a good thing. And I think that's definitely also something we are pushing a lot. I also definitely encourage everybody to check it out, what is here available at TechEd. So that's a message back to all the managers now coming back from TechEd, and there's a lot for me to learn. And maybe you can make a learning day or a learning Friday afternoon or something. I think this is some great ideas I want to encourage everybody in the community to take on. One thing is, I don't know, Michelle, you're always blogging. Like, what is the next blog you're thinking about? Like, I'm always curious to wait and hear about your next blog post.
Oh boy. I don't know. I go back and forth. This time around, after looking and talking with different people, I think I'm going to blog about something about the older, not really the older tools, but maybe the newer way to use the older tools, something like that.
Okay, good. And Tudor, what is your activity or next activity in the community? What are you scoping out for yourself?
Well, actually, I was looking really forward to TechEd because I'm usually attending a lot of the SAP Insight Tracks, which are these SAP-driven community events. And unfortunately, because of the Corona situations, these were all canceled, except a few online ones. So I was looking forward to TechEd and what's new and what's new to learn. And related to Michel's session, I think what is important nowadays is to learn how to learn and how to be efficient in learning new things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now the how to learn is definitely a lot, and I'm in the community and learning organizations, so we have a lot of discussions also into that one. And I think what has changed and what we see a lot is definitely like you need to fit the learning around your time and make it happen. And I think there's a lot of good tools now available. I also appreciate like the help which comes from the community in this learning. And I think this is exactly what we are also opening up with the tutorials, for example, that they are on GitHub, that you can provide us feedback, etc. And definitely more in that direction to come from our side. Good. And you talked about one good thing like Inside Track. So I was checking out the social media. So there is a lot of like watch parties going on right now. So that's great. There's one here in Frankfurt, and I think I told them like, oh, we're pretty close, like we're almost neighbors. So because we're streaming from here. So it's great to see all this community work and also like learning from each other. I'm always at the Inside Track in Munich because that's my hometown, and always lovely to chat with everybody and connect. And now this year we have to do it virtually, but it feels like you're in our kitchen here. It's just perfect, and also always great to see this over the different tools and how to get the people together online. Good.
Yeah, and also to be able to have TechEd online, and so far it's been such a successful event. I think this is really nice, and a lot of people get to appreciate it. We were talking before with one of the organizers from the studio, and I was really curious how many people connected live to watch the keynote. And I guess you will hopefully publish some numbers later on, but I was really amazed. If you compare with the live events in the previous years, there is so many more people who are actually, you can see how much interest is there.
Yeah, we see a lot of interest, and there's definitely a lot of also things going on behind the scenes, and we want to show that one once in more detail. So thanks a lot again, and let's have a look behind the scenes on how we're doing TechEd virtually.
Here I am, I'm standing on probably the most sophisticated and unbelievable stage I've ever stood on in my life.
The way this is done can be described as virtual production. That's kind of a newer term and a newer production technology that has become popular since The Mandalorian.
This is something that I've never experienced before, I've never really seen before. I've always worked with a green screen, and this LED technology that we're using for this year's TechEd is completely different.
The basic of this studio is not only the really big LED screen and the LED floor. The basic are the tracked cameras. We have 2 cameras on pedestals, and we have a camera crane, and all these 3 cameras are tracked. That means the computer gets information where exactly the camera moves, and the computer tells the real-time 3D engine where it's placed in that moment. So that means the whole virtual set, and it's completely perspective, moves around all the time the camera is being moved.
I mean, I've been in environments where there's lighting and, you know, they put the lights on you and they move this around, or there's a stage where they physically bring out all the props and everything like that. But to be honestly inside of a video game is just amazingly cool.
A live show with 48 hours, with this technology, with 3 cameras, and that level of production hasn't been achieved or been produced in Europe so far.
We bring the customer needs together with, of course, the community needs, but also with all the other great partners we have in this whole production.
One of the main differences I think that virtual TechEd has with a regular physical event is the amount of people that we're going to be able to reach. Here we're talking about 50, 60, 100,000 people that will be able to look at the content, they'll be able to understand what SAP has to offer, and they'll even be able to get hands-on experience. And also because you can watch the sessions afterwards, I really hope that we continue to engage with the community with regard to the TechEd sessions all throughout the next year.
Wow, that was a great behind the scenes, and I can tell you, like, the video doesn't even get it across completely. So, like, I need to do another video on behind the scenes here. But now next we have a different topic, and I give it back to Cecilia and to Svea about mindfulness, and you have a great discussion. So thank you, and I'm definitely curious to learn more about the topic.
Thanks, Thomas. So I'll see you later then. Get out of my kitchen. All right. Okay. So we have a live interview right now with Svea Becker. She is an SAP community advocate, and you might recognize her name. I mean, first of all, she's already been on TechEd a few times already, and Twitter is going crazy, I can tell you that. But also, she published a blog post. I will always say post, DJ, don't worry. She published a blog post with all the mindfulness sessions that we're going to be offering during TechEd. And this is a brand new thing, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about mindfulness. We're going to get into details. She's going to give us some examples, tell us maybe how we can start in mindfulness practices. So I'm really looking forward to this discussion. Svea, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. It's really a pleasure to be here and talking about one of my favorite topics.
That's great. All right. So before we get started with the questions, because I have a lot, maybe you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Yes. So as you said, I'm from the SAP community team. I'm with SAP for 20 years, but that's not the only thing I'm doing. In my kind of second career path, I'm an aerobic and fitness instructor, even more than 20 years now. And this topic with the holistic approach of body, mind, and soul comes a really long time with me. When I started with my sports, I already noticed that this is a combination of all. And I read a lot of books about it. I have joined a lot of sessions about those topics. And it's really a big part of my life.
Okay, very nice. So you've been on then this mindfulness journey for quite a while, right?
Right.
And you mentioned that you've been a fitness instructor for over 20 years, and you still do that today. So do you still give classes?
Yes, I still do, even virtual. So, for example, yesterday evening from the hotel, okay. I had a nice session with my participants. And it's even a great thing that I can combine also those mindfulness topics, because in the daily work, so your daily routine, you do not have to have so much time for yourself. You have to combine work and family, even in home office. It's really, really difficult. And so, when I teach my classes, it's like normal. You have warming up, you have a main part, and then you have a stretch and relax part. And in that part, I try to bring a few minutes in there that my participants can rely on they can reflect themselves, they can just lie there, close the eyes, breathe, and take a moment for themselves. And this is also mindfulness. I mean, mindfulness is not only meditation, right? So there are a lot of different things.
And I think that's a common misconception that people have, that mindfulness equals meditation. And thanks to you, and thanks to working together for the past week, preparing and rehearsing and talking about this, I learned that, like you said, there are other mindfulness practices that are different from meditation. Can you share maybe some examples?
Yeah. So first of all, I would say living mindful or being mindful is being in that present moment and accepting that situation and don't judge. So this is really the most important thing. And you can do this in many different ways. So as you ask for some examples, of course, this meditation. You can have, for example, a walking meditation, a dancing meditation, a silent meditation, kind of this. But there are also features like a body scan, so that you scan through your body and focus on the different points of your body. Or what I also like is journaling. So this is also very interesting practice. Do you want me to share something about it?
I would love for you to share.
So, for example, this journaling, and this is what I I learned in the SAP. I will share something about that later, where I learned it exactly. Journaling is you take 2 or 3 minutes time. You take a sentence like, I'm happy when, or what's really upset me is, and then you start writing. But you only have to do this in this 2 or 3 minutes time. And you may not stop. You just write, whatever comes into your mind. And if you don't remember anything, then you write, I don't know what to say anymore. So really, or don't know what to think anymore. So you write and write. And after the 2 minutes, you can stop. And it's just reflecting for your own. You can read it afterwards. You do not have to share it with anyone. It's just really for you. And I think it's a nice practice also for people who don't want to meditate. Yeah, right. So it's a nice way to start.
That's very cool. I have to say that yesterday in the hotel, so I was a little nervous, let's say, because this is the first time we're doing this. We're live from a studio. I mean, it was just like so much. So I actually tried that out, and I was just like, I am nervous because, and I started writing. Wow. So writing. I think I put a 2-minute timer on, and it really helped me just get that all out of my mind, I would say, or just kind of expel it from my mind. And then I was able to sleep, and I slept soundly. So
without taking your phone in between.
Without looking at my phone in the middle of the night. I slept like 8 hours solid. I got up, I did fitness, it was perfect. So I definitely recommend it to you guys.
Great, thanks for sharing, this is great.
All right, so can maybe you share a little bit about how you learned about mindfulness, how you learned about these different practices? Was it at SAP? Was it somewhere else?
Yeah, that's what I mentioned briefly. So I think since 2012, SAP is offering more work-life balance related stuff. So they founded, or they created a program, Search Inside Yourself, called Search Inside Yourself. And I joined that program 2015. And it's really about mindfulness, different techniques you learn there. I learned there this journaling. And the nice idea of this program is that you have a buddy. So out of those 20 or how many participants, you choose a buddy, and then you meet with that buddy regularly afterwards. So for a period of time, I don't know, so weekly would be best, and then you can practice the meditations or journalings or just have a chat. It's a really nice idea. Yeah.
Cool. And do you have a buddy?
Of course I have, yeah. And I also meet regularly with her.
That's great. And now you do it in a virtual setup, right? So
of course. Yeah.
That sounds really cool.
Everything's virtual.
Everything's virtual, yeah, of course. All right. So in this, Search Inside Yourself, right?
Yeah.
That's the
Search Inside Yourself.
It's Search Inside Yourself. Is this only an SAP offering, or is it also available externally?
It's also available externally. Since a couple of years, there is actually a full-time group and a department within SAP. And they are offering this not only to SAP people, but they are offering it also to customers to adopt this to their employees. It's a really nice program. And I mean, we are going to the right direction. SAP is going to the right direction, that they have now a department who are taking care of this. And in addition to that, they have also mindfulness trainers and mindfulness ambassadors. This is also, so there are a lot of people within SAP who are taking care of these schedules and
promoting kind of mindfulness.
Yeah.
Within SAP, that's great. But yeah, so like Svea mentioned, these courses are offered externally, so that's a great shout out to you guys. If you think that would be something cool for your company, or if you want to participate in something like that, just reach out to SAP, because I think that would be a great idea to promote these type of practices within any company. Especially like you mentioned now with the pandemic, we know that life and work has kind of become mixed in everything because we work from home, we have our family at home, we do everything from home. Sometimes, we don't leave the house except maybe to go to the grocery store. So really finding time to refocus, to reflect, to understand what's going on with ourselves is very important.
Yeah, that's what we're doing also here, right? And I think I also want to share how I try to combine those sports stuff with my SAP role, because in SAP Community, I'm often on SAP Community events. I mean, Tudor just mentioned in the previous talk that they did not happen this year, but in the last years I joined a lot of them. And I thought, why not bringing this sports or mindfulness or holistic topic into those events? And I created a little program on my own from all my experience I had and gained in the whole years, and called it like Body and Mind, I think. And the idea was to give attendees some tools how they can relax, how they can work with the breath during their event experiences or when they are traveling. And it was really successful. So in my first session, I had out of 100, I had 30 attendees. SAP Community is technical focused, so there are a lot of male attendees. So I wasn't really sure if this will work out, but it worked out pretty well. And I will definitely proceed this once we are back in our
with physical events. Yeah, well, let's hope that happens sooner rather than later. Okay, awesome. So you mentioned the SAP community, and I assume you went to these events as an SAP community advocate, right? That was your role.
That's right.
Can you maybe share a little bit about what the community does in terms of mindfulness? Because I think there's also interesting content there, right?
Yeah, that's true. And I have brought my laptop to show
I see that.
To our audience, our community. So we have here our community.sap.com. And even if you are not logged in, but you have noticed that we have, with the technical registration, you have the access data to the SAP community, but you can also try to find the content without logging in. So I do this without being logged in. You go to topic, and there you can search for a topic. So in this case, it's not mindfulness, but it's emotional intelligence. So I have just written emotion, then it shows already up, and you can click here. And this is a so-called topic page. There you can find a lot of different information about offerings, links to all the blog posts, links to the tags, to the question answer, and some background information. So there's an interest in the SAP community as well. So this is one thing you can learn. A different thing would be the tag I just mentioned. So when you go to blogs, all tags, there you can also search for emotional intelligence. Here you have it. And here you have this blue follow button. So when you are logged in, you have to be logged in for being active in the SAP community. Right. So you can click that follow button. And also you can bookmark that page. I will show you when I'm logged in. So following means that if there is any new content, you get a notification in your account about new content. So you can keep on track, you can read all this information. And here now, in the meanwhile, I have logged in. You see that I'm following that tag, of course. And here on the right-hand side, you have this little plus icon, and there you can bookmark that icon, that page. That means when you go to your profile, you can easily access the bookmarks.
It's like a favorites option.
It's like kind of favorite options, And when I scroll down a little bit, you see also that I have written this blog post you mentioned earlier. And I want to show you this briefly because this is these are all the sessions we are offering in parallel. So we started already prior to the event with some mindfulness practices, and those sessions are a little introduction depending on the attendees who are joining, so a little introduction to that topic, and then a mindfulness practice. Whatever this is, it's up to the SAP and Mindfulness Ambassador to choose that according to the audience. And here in this blog post, you can find all the schedule. And yeah, that's not the only thing where you can find the schedule. Of course, we have also an SAP Tech topic page. It's SAP Tabbing in 2020. Yeah, and there you can also find the whole schedule of Channel 1. And in this Channel 1, you have here, when you scroll down a little bit, the mindfulness and practices for more energy and focus. So there is a need there is an interest. So go to community.sap.com and have a look what we are offering over there.
Perfect. And so to attend these sessions, they would just have to register, right? In that page that you showed. They would register, they show up, and then that's it.
That's right, yeah. It's via Zoom. So they register, and my colleagues who are not on site here, they are hosting this from the technical side. Then we have the SAP Mindfulness Ambassadors who are conducting those. And I really recommend everyone to have a look into those sessions.
So do I. I have to say it works. So you mentioned SAP Mindfulness Ambassadors. And I know you kind of said this to me a few times. You're not an ambassador, right? So maybe can you explain what an SAP Mindfulness Ambassador is, or what you should do to be one?
Yeah, this is really interesting, and I researched a little bit because I'm interested in their role, as you can imagine. So this is an additional thing you can do on top of your work. So it's kind of 1 hour per week assignment. You have to submit an application. You have to submit a video, you have to submit your manager approval, so because it's on top of your work. And yeah, they also recommend to have a lot of meditation experience. And if you have joined a silence retreat or something, this is also helpful. That's, for example, nothing what I did yet, but it's on my bucket list, definitely.
Okay, that's interesting. So you want to become a mindfulness ambassador, right?
I would love to.
That's great.
I have my manager's approval.
That's the first step. All right, awesome. Okay, so when you were showing the SAP community, you mentioned that, we could go to the topic page and we could bookmark it. We could follow the tag. And if you follow the tag and you have your notifications set, and we saw the video from Craig before where he explained all that.
Right.
But the notifications are set, and then you can receive information every time somebody posts either a blog post or a question, right? With that tag. Okay.
Yeah.
And you could also follow people, right?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
This maybe I can show, and if there is someone from the audience who has already joined one of the sessions I showed here, then you may have seen one of our mindfulness ambassadors. So I search for Urte here. So here is something. So Urte was part of our Coffee Corner meetups we are doing from the community team every 2 weeks. And I invited her to join those sessions. We have their breakout rooms, and we have always different kind of topics, and we thought to involve mindfulness as well. So in the first session, she had a little introduction to mindfulness. We had a short meditation. In the second session, we re-invited her, and she did something about journaling here, and this is the blog post where I introduce that. And here you can see, I click on the name, and there you can follow, and you see here now my view. So I'm following her already. So this is also easy. And once she posts anything, you can also get a notification as long as you have set it in your profile settings. So this is, of course, a prerequisite for that.
Of course. Okay, great. So, and you would definitely recommend, for example, somebody that's new to the topic to follow Urte vielleicht?
Yes.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Why did I just say that in German? That was just insane.
But yeah. Gladly I understand German. Yes, I recommend to follow Urte. That would be, she's also one of the full-time people from the mindfulness global I don't know. I have to look at this. I can't find it. Global Mindfulness team.
There's a team that does that full-time at SAP, and these are the same people that go to companies and do the
that's right.
search inside yourself.
One of those team
okay,
members.
Awesome, perfect. So while we're on the topic maybe of newbies and people that aren't really that into or haven't had that much experience with mindfulness yet, can you recommend maybe a simple way to get started? Is there anything that you would say that if maybe like 3 tips that you would say, this is how you can get started with the topic, and then you can see if it works for you?
Yeah, so first of all, I would really say start slow, start small. Don't put yourself under pressure. There are, for example, a lot of apps outside there where you can get guided meditation or even music only, silent meditations. What's also very nice is a body scan. This can be done when you go to sleep, so you lie in bed already, you can scan through your body. So this is also recommended. It's a really easy thing, and maybe we could do this now.
I'm interested in that.
Yeah.
I mean, would you mind? Would that be?
No, that's completely okay for me.
Awesome, so let's do it.
All right. Okay, so everyone is invited to join. So set yourself straight. Bring your chest up, shoulders down, and start breathing. Breathe in and out. And with the next breath, you can just close your eyes. I will also do closing my eyes. And you start in the bottom. So you feel your feet on the ground. And the most important thing is that you just recognize and don't judge. And your breath is going regularly, completely naturally, and you move a little bit up onto your knees. And just recognize your body, how it feels, how you sit here. Go further up into your upper body. Breathe in and out regularly and feel your stomach, feel your back. Go ahead to your shoulders and feel, are they tense or relaxed? And feel also the hands on your thigh. Just recognize. Don't judge. And then take a couple of deeper breaths. Breathe in either through your nose, breathe out either through your mouth or your nose. Breathe in again. And with the next out breath, you open your eyes. It's so simple. Thank you.
That was amazing, Svea. Thank you so much. I enjoyed this talk so much, as you know, and I will try to incorporate more mindfulness sessions.
Yeah, and I have a little present for you from the SAP community. So it's a sticker I have here.
This is for you,
Cecilia.
Thank you so much.
I saw there's some on the desk, so I thought it's a nice idea to bring this to you.
Thank you.
Maybe if I may say something, we have another talk tomorrow morning at 8:30 German time with Dominique Lay and Menina Chow about mindfulness.
All right, check that out. All right, so the next hour is all about COVID-19 and how SAP technology can help companies through this pandemic. See you soon.